Welcome to the fermented section, my favorite one. I'm going to walk you through a couple of things that are worth knowing, and then you can pick and choose. First of all, let me grab a miso paste. So you can have a couple of types of miso. You can have traditional, this is sweet white miso. You can have white miso, yellow miso, brown miso. Doesn't matter which one you pick. The color just has the potency and the flavor, and it can be darker, richer, or milder. So you can start with white or mellow miso and try. Make sure the miso, if it's made of soy, make sure it's organic. If you don't take soy, if you cannot use soy for any reasons, there's a lot of miso paste now that are soy-free. I'm holding miso organic chickpea miso, for example, certified gluten-free. So what is the point of having miso? Miso is fermented, therefore it has some good bacteria that can enrich your colonic terrain, so to speak. And it's not that they're going to colonize and overgrow. It's just every time you eat them, they're going to have a benefit. And of course, they will die out. That's what they're supposed to do. But every time you eat, you have a benefit. Every time you eat chips, you don't have a benefit. So it's a toss, right? You can literally mix a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons to your taste with a cup of hot water, and you have a broth. Sorry. You don't want to boil it, because if you boil the broth, you're gonna kill the good bacteria. If you've ever had Japanese miso soup, notice next time that when they bring you the miso soup, it's still kind of cloudy inside and moving. That's because they added the miso at the very last moment without boiling the soup and just whisked it to mix it so it dissolves. It has to be a rich, salty flavor, so you'll know how much more paste you have to add to your water to make it that special, deliciousness. What I do on a night when I'm tired, I will just have some green onions chopped in the fridge, and I'll just sprinkle them. I have a mug with hot water. I'll mix it, whisk it as much as I want of the miso, and then I'll add a little bit of green onions, and I'm good to go. Let me show you some other things. I grew up with a lot of sauerkraut, because I'm from Poland originally, and pickles. So any green grocery you would walk past, and there were plenty everywhere you live, had a big barrel of the pickles and a big barrel of sauerkraut. And you would just scoop them out. They were dirt cheap. So every day walking past on your way home, you could just get a little baggie of each. So they were very popular. They're not as available in America, but we can make them, of course, if we have time. But in a healthy food store, you might be able to get a few reputable companies. One of them is, if I can pronounce it, bobbies. So let me show you what you're looking for. You don't want vinegar. You don't want any pickles in vinegar, because vinegar is going to kill any good bacteria. You want the brine, you want the water with salt. That's the natural fermentation. So if you look at the bobbies here, this is the closest to the Polish pickle that I found. You see how cloudy the bottom is? You know that it's a brine. If it was completely water-like, clear, that would be vinegar. So very simple recipe, it's a side dish. You can chop them into small cubes and chop a little bit of onion into small cubes too, just a little, mix them up, drizzle with olive oil, and you have fantastic little side dish. I just love that. The bobbies also have a very good reputable sauerkraut that I have fantastic recipe from Poland that is finger licking. One more thing I'm going to show you. Koreans have an amazing tradition of kimchi, which is a little bit like European sauerkraut, except you see how red it is? This is chili. This is very spicy. So if you are doing the program with me, we're not doing chilies and spices except cayenne pepper, so that's not an option. But we're lucky enough Sanja's, that is a brand that is available in a lot of health food stores, including Whole Foods. This is actually white kimchi, which means it doesn't have the chili paste or chili powder, and it's delicious. So I highly recommend it as a side dish. Just scoop it out and eat it. I have to warn you that the smell is very strong. So I literally have to run away from my husband when I eat it and keep it closed and only open and close it as I eat it. The smell is disproportionately strong to the delicious flavor. I don't know how it works, but I know that Korean scientists have been working for a number of years to create kimchi without that smell because it's offensive to some people, but it's really delicious. And I think, let me see if there's anything here. These are the, oh, I know, one more thing I want to show you. I want to introduce you to tempeh. If you are okay with soy, whenever you look at soy, you want to only pick organic, remember. So tempeh, so that you know soy, you don't want to cook soy like beans and consume them because they're really not digestible. You're gonna have a indigestion. But what you do with soy, just like with miso paste, you fermented soy, and that's when it's much easier on the body, it's absorbable. So this is a cake actually. So I don't know if you can see, there's some soybeans right there. Whole soybeans are caked together with a grain or two. Sometimes it's brown rice, sometimes it's barley. So you want to be careful, look at the ingredients. You don't want barley because it has gluten. And so when you cake it and ferment it, it kind of solidifies together. So it is fermented food. And you can cut it in slices like meat. And you can marinate it, you can fry it. You have to season it. It has a slightly mushroomy flavor, so it is an acquired taste. But you can hide it or enhance it with a lot of marinade or spices and herbs and ginger and or whatnot. So that's something for people that are familiar and comfortable with soy. But again, always pick organic soy. And one more thing that I'm going to mention in terms of fermented, traditionally, if it's traditional fermented, is soy sauce. I'm going to show you later, but tamari soy sauce is what you want. And you want it organic again, because tamari soy sauce doesn't have wheat in it. If you have traditional soy sauce, it's going to have wheat in it. Tamari has alcohol as well. Regular soy sauce has alcohol as well. If you want to avoid alcohol, you want transaminase, I'm going to show you where they are later. So that's it for that section.